Welcome to this week's episode of Reals&Feels. I'm your host, T Greasy, with my co-host,
Jonas,
our producer extraordinaire,
C Major.
Shout out to Blue Haze as always. And Miss Janelle, I had an opportunity to see C Major in action this morning. Ma Dukes is here, and she taps in and checks in with our young niece on a regular basis. She had the phone. They had a FaceTime call going, and I ran the room with Ma to check out what's all this ruckus, because I hear all this chaos in the background. And my niece is running the house, man. It's a different level of running the house. I've been a proponent of her running the house, but myself and Gerasmo, we're visiting soon, and we're going to have a talk with our niece. We're going to try to get her on board. You got to help your parents out. You can't just run them the way you run it. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to stop by C Major. We're going to try to talk our magic. We're going to try to work our magic and try to get her on the same page. Get y'all a little freedom.
Good luck. Yeah. Just know if you hear the basement door open and the garage open,
y'all
we left. Yeah, we're not gonna tell you anything. We're gonna pull off fucking fools, and it's just like,
yeah, she running the show, Miss Janelle. It's not even close to who's. You want to know who's in charge? Don't look up. No. The person that's running the show is not at eye level at all. Not at all.
Well, she is because we're holding.
Yeah, because you're always holding her. Nah, but it was dope seeing her. She's super full of energy, dude. Like, what? When she gets mobile, watch out. Yeah. Watch out. Yeah.
She wake up 6-7 o'clock in the morning. Check to see who she could slap and wake up first. And whoever she wake up, she greets them with a wonderful, encouraging smile. And then just do some wild shit like fall back. And then it'd be like, yo, I need you to not wake us up and then startle us immediately. We're too old for that type shit.
Nah, yeah.
You gotta be on your toes, nigga.
Oh, man.
This what you that moment of pleasure. You're like, whoa, that was a great night.
Yeah.
12 later. Yeah, she bouncing around in that joke. She in between stages of, you could tell she in that I want to be mobile, but I don't quite know how. And if I'm mobile, that means y'all not gonna touch me. So
yeah.
Yeah, I need y'all hold me a little. I ain't. But when she figure out the true freedom and walking,
yeah, it's over for. It's
over. It's over. Yeah. Yeah, good night, one C Major. I don't know what to tell you, man.
Hey man, it's one of those Jones where it's like it's bittersweet if she do, like you said, if she start walking, then we don't, she's probably not looking for us anymore. But then that's a lot of pressure because now we gotta keep the crib super clean. Like I don't need her reaching down, pulling up a nugget. And like like ooh, candy, like
right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and then depending on the size of the nugget, like now I'm mad for two reasons. Like it's like that should have went in the grinder, and now I gotta poison control. Like
when you first said nugget, I was thinking chicken nugget.
I was on chicken.
And she kept talking.
No.
Okay,
the worst.
Jeez. Well, yeah, that was dope to see who's really in charge and see Majors trying to cook breakfast for the family, and Lisa had her hands full. They both had their hands full. I want to call Lisa a little later and say, hey, it's because my mother calls doesn't mean you have to answer. If you're in the middle of something that it's tragic or it's the chaos is too much, it's okay to dub her every now and then.
Yeah. Oh no, Nikki be Lisa be sleep through like half the phone calls my mother make like throughout the day, or she don't have her phone. I actually called her this morning.
Okay.
Because I was like, nah, look at her. I want you to show. I want you to. I need this to be documented by someone else. I need.
Like
Not
me,
nah, look at her.
Nah,
baby
look
girl,
at her.
Bullshit. Look at your granddaughter. Look at what's going on. I could dig that. This week I was telling Miss Janelle before we recorded about my work stuff. I'm trying to keep that off air, but just know it's continuing to be stressful, and I'll continue to just say that. But I did write down some random shit that happened this week. I always forget. I went to the grocery store and I almost paid somebody else's groceries. I found myself in a predicament where I said, I got an extra $50. And this person in front of me seems to be struggling or doesn't have the funds to complete their purchase. It wasn't a lot of food. It wasn't an absurd amount of anything or anything that was super expensive. But I didn't know how to do it. I found myself stuck and overthinking this entire thing a little bit too much. So the first thought was, don't embarrass this person. I don't want to embarrass that person. How do I tell the cashier there's a line of people behind me? How do I make this less of an embarrassment for this person, right? I was stuck there. I was also stuck on if I can be very honest, I was stuck on the fact that it appears person was buying food for themselves and not a family, which is what Gerasmo and I talked about a little bit after, once I got home. I said, I've been single. I think we overshare when someone has a kid. When it's obvious that they're buying like formula and stuff like that. I think I have the opposite chip than most people. I don't give a fuck about that. Like if it appeared that there was no, not at all. If I saw obvious baby food items, I don't even think I would have thought about possibly paying because I'm like, Mike is in my head. If you can't feed the baby, then don't pay. That's how my brain works. Right? And I know that's harsh. So the first thing I noticed was she appears to be feeding herself. And that made me a little more sympathetic than if she was a parent. All right. So that was the second thing. The third thing was, what if this is scam? What if the credit card that this person used was forged with some type of bullshit scam card? And I've heard of instances where people go try to buy like maybe $30, $40 worth of something to see if the card is active. And then once they know it's active, then they go and run it up somewhere else. Right. And so I wind up talking myself out of a good deed. Have you ever talked yourself out of a good deed? Or am I just tripping?
I haven't, only because I've been blessed in that way when I didn't necessarily need it, where somebody did like a pay it forward thing for me. And I took it and appreciated it. And I decided, okay, I'm a pay forward as well. But the first thing that, being in that situation where somebody handed money for me, the first thing that came to my mind was not embarrassment. And like I said, it wasn't a situation where I was necessarily even in need, but it blessed me to not have to spend that money in that moment. The other thing that I think about too, where you you thought about the scam aspect. If that is the case, like if I'm fucking with somebody and I hand it to them and they're going to go buy drugs or they're going to do whatever, or they're going to scam, or that's on them now. That is what the universe is going to deal with you in that way. You know what I mean? And I'm just saying this just so that if the situation arises again, maybe you won't talk yourself out of it. I was in a situation back before we stopped shopping at Target. I was in Target and I would monthly, go get my cat's monthly supplies in Target. And it was a young lady in there and she happened to be visibly with child, pregnant. And she was in struggle mode. And I said, you know what? I wasn't able to come to your shower. Can I bless you? And I just paid for what was going on. And she was just grateful. I don't think that I embarrassed her. I just framed it like, in that situation, I could frame it like, we love to celebrate a new life coming into the world. I wasn't there, because you chit chat with people and whatever. And she was like, yeah, she appeared to be nervous about the child being born and happened to come up short, was about to take stuff off. You know what? I couldn't be there for the shower. Can I give this gift to you here? And she was grateful and went on about her day. But like you said, it's the same thing. Like I think the same way. I remember when I was single, struggling, and was deciding, am I gonna just eat this loaf of bread?
Right.
What we talking about? Am I just gonna butter a bunch of toast this week?
Put it in the skillet. What's up?
And I think that at worst, a person would be gracious enough to decline in a way that wasn't showing offense. But I don't think extending yourself in that way, especially if a person needs it, I go be embarrassed in the car or on the bus or wherever the fuck I'm going, but I'm eating this week,
Got you. Yeah.
Worst they can do is be like, no, thank you. I'd rather, I'd rather put these items back. Okay. But don't talk yourself out of it. That's all.
I feel like them situations only happen to me when I'm literally a fucked up financial move from being in their same circumstance. That's like I can't think of any time that's happened to me when I like just got paid and the money's flowing right and I ain't fuck up nothing, and, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, every time it's been in that situation, I'm behind them looking in my bank account, making sure I got it.
you like matter of fact.
Let's go to the third nigga behind me and see if he can get all of us.
Oh shit! Yeah, I have had the situation. I've had somebody see my card in a grocery store and offer to pay, and it was a lifesaver, and I was extremely thankful for it because my payday wasn't till Friday, so I would have had to take all that shit in my cart back. And it was a Wednesday or something. I was like, God damn, this embarrassing as hell. So yeah, I felt that, but I did. I gotta just. I think the barrier for me was how do I introduce it, and I think you gave me some good tips. So thank you for that. How's your week? What's everybody doing?
Well, Sunday, I went and party with my homegirl, and it was me and the Don, and we're about like 15 to 20 years younger than everybody at the table. And so Bob Johnson, billionaire Bob Johnson, happened to be celebrating his birthday at the table next to us.
Hold on.
Excuse me? Hold on, wait. Ooh, yeah.
Nah, but I'm just saying. What I'm saying is, first of all, shout out to the restaurant staff because they treated the billionaire table the same way they treated our table.
Gotcha. Okay.
But when I tell you, I mentioned briefly having friends who are older and younger and maybe seeing the blueprint of how you want. We need to be these type of divas in our 60s. Okay. Just a table full of cold ass bitches. Like, cause my homegirl, she know me and the Don, but she had her homegirls from college with her. And the conversation was not, you had it was a lady there who's been married 30-something years. It was widows. It was people who've been in their careers forever. It was people who were retiring, and the conversation was just dope. We had a sommelier at the table. She had like 3 little samples on the Merlots and just the way shit was just being carried was just fly. And I was like, okay, we could still be this dope at every stage. It was a great experience. After that, my niece collected me, her mom, my mom, and decided she wanted to take us out to dinner. That was dope. She pulling out the card. I was like, wait a minute, what is this? Like, and then it hit me. Like, I remember when she was just a little seedling. I remember before she was born. I remember the day she was born, and now she's treating the table. I thought that was dope. She's preparing for her prom, and her buddy was doing their fitting thing and, you know, getting all of that together. And she was like, I just want to celebrate y'all. I want to take y'all out. I was like, wow.
That's dope, man.
Yeah, so it was a really great week hanging with sisters who were a little bit older and taught me a few things, and hanging with my niece and her homegirl. Hopefully I could teach them some things. It was a good time.
Oh, shit.
That's what's
How
up,
about you,
man.
C Major?
I ain't had none of that. That fly shit happened to me. No, I mean, for real, my shit, the 2 things I wrote down is just like some slight shit throughout the week, but it brought up a question or a conversation I like to have. So I've been watching the Daredevil series, the Born Again series on Disney Plus, and there was an episode where basically Fisk is now mayor, so he had his police force claim to apprehend or to take out a suspect at large that he didn't. Daredevil beat his ass, and then the actual victim is the person who killed the person. And
Okay.
I just wanted to, because, you know, typically in situations like that, they didn't show it in the show, but typically in situations like that, to keep everybody quiet, a little bit of dough is handed out. For a situation specific, you were the victim. You were subdued. Daredevil comes, whoops the nigga's ass enough. You got the toolie, and when opportunity arises, you shoot the bam and he's done. How much dough is it taking for you to stay quiet?
I'm the one that shot the dude that attacked me.
Yeah, he's been at large. He's a the city knows about him. Citywide serial killer.
Citywide serial killer, and the goal was to give me hush money so that the mayor could take credit for it.
Take credit for it. Yep.
Okay, I just want to make sure I completely understood. I need at least 24 hours to do some due diligence on what the city can afford.
Okay.
And then I'm sliding a little note with a number on it, and we're going to start the negotiating there. But yes, I could keep quiet. That's not a problem. I don't want to be known at all in this instance. I want to take the money, go pay for my therapy or whatever I'm going to need to get over whatever the incident is, and I'm perfectly fine living out the rest of my days not being a hero and stacking chips. I don't think it takes that much for me. A cool 150 for something like that can keep me nice and quiet. I can make enough moves with 150,000 because I ain't trying to bankrupt the city either. Like you gotta, we gotta come up with a number that's not suspicious. You know what I'm saying? And I think 150 to 200K is a nice. That's somebody's salary. You can figure out what you want to do with that at some other point. That's a nice little number that you can move some decimal points around and make it work. And I can still feel that allows me to take some extended leave off from my job, get myself right, make the proper moves financially to to try to set myself up so I'm not stressed moving forward. I think that's a cool number, especially right now today, 2025, in the city that I live in now. That's a good number.
I'm right there with you, Grease. I'm gonna take it a step further though. I'm not necessarily investigating how much the city can afford. I'm investigating the players in the city and the state that I'm dealing with, because you do a little bit of digging and you understand, like in the case of Fisk, you might not be aware of all of his crimes, but you're aware of all of his connection.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to appeal to the state that I'm going to need therapeutic services. I'm going to need a little bit of help, but I don't need too much, because I don't need the state to have the power to come after me later if they feel like I was trying to extort.
Gotcha.
Because I can keep quiet.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have no problem with that. But I do need some care. Nice 150, 200, cool.
Yeah, you are going to have a hospital. You were critically injured during this.
I'm gonna need some care, and I want that dealt with. But I don't want to be beholden to the state in that way, because I don't want y'all to come calling on me later. Because y'all have too much that y'all can touch me with, and I don't want y'all to ever think about doing that. That's
key. That's kind of why I picked that number. I'm like, what number is going to keep me under the radar and out of I don't want to ever have to talk to y'all again about a lab team. And I think that's a safe number. What about you, C Major?
Oh yeah,
I mean, trying to get paid.
C Major said $8 billion.
Like this.
What you talking about? Like what? How much Ant-Man get paid per year? Like what? Who just recently got the Supermax? Like
who just got the Supermax?
Who just got the Supermax?
Supermax and Heroes.
Supermax Hero. I want the Supermax civilian hero contract. Like I need.
Major want that bounty on his head. Major want to become the problem they got to take care of.
Yeah,
absolutely, 100%.
Because I'm in the clubs, I'm moving through the city flagrant. Fuck y'all. I'm so loud out here. And I'm not really talking, but like, who is this new player that just showed up with this? Oh, ain't that the dude that got fucked up in the? Where he get this money? Yeah, I'm out here.
C Major is the Tracy Morgan of what we're talking about. But it's like it's I understand that the wanting to do that, but like in Tracy Morgan's case, it's like fuck that. What company was responsible?
It was Walmart. Yeah, now private company.
Flagrant, be flagrant.
Oh,
yeah. Like he's absurdly. He's living absurd right now, and God bless him. I love that for him. I really do.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm definitely with that for private companies. No, realistically, I'd be on that shit. But when I thought about it, I'd be like, yo, to try. And with a player like Wilson Fisk, I would know better.
That's what I'm saying.
Really,
name, and then even if it wasn't Fisk, it could be Smith. The nature of local politics is so sketchy that we can make this go away. My lawyer is walking in and saying, look, we can make this go away for 150, and you'll never, like, matter of fact, T won't even live here anymore. Like, you don't have to, it's gone. All of the evidence, go ahead, clean it. Go ahead and burn the house down, make it look like an accident. Just give me some new ID. Give me and my family some new ID. We take this thing on the road. You ain't gotta deal with me no more. Definitely. That's a good question, C-Major. I like that.
Interesting.
Is the series good?
Oh yeah.
Okay, check it out.
I don't want to. I guess it's not a spoiler. But my man, I forgot his name. A man who plays Punisher. He is featured, but I believe it's only one episode because he said he did not like the creative direction that they were going with it. So I am mad at that. That because their scene together was powerful, and so that's just one thing. But yeah, like now I'm concerned because I'm like, is there still going to be a Punisher series moving forward, or is that just his opinion on how they were trying to portray him through the Daredevil series. I don't know, but I did see that. But outside of that, the series is good. I like it thus far.
John Bernthal plays Frank, aka the Punisher. Excuse me, not the publisher, the Punisher. He's amazing. He's an amazing. I love him in the Netflix series. That was so. I hope they get the creative together because that dude he played the fuck out of that role on Netflix.
Fuck yeah. And then other outside of that, this week we had to deal with a customer who had an interlock on his car. For those who don't know, that's the situation where you got to blow into the device before you can start the ignition and take off.
So can I just say that? So you didn't start the car. Who else started?
The customer.
I know. Okay.
Yeah.
So you can't start the car.
No.
How does the mechanic get to troubleshoot?
So there are certain, like, they can provide you procedures to bypass it. The customer has to get that information like prior to, so they can have, because you have to call it in to get the procedures, to which they are a little tedious and sometimes difficult to understand because you have a recording sending you, like, replaying this over to you. Like, you don't get anything printed out or anything as a way to, I guess, prevent the customer from attempting to do it. So, in most cases, like with this customer, he's been coming to us for years. So I'm like, damn, how long have you, to which it got to this point, how long have you had this shit on? But he already know the deal. He stays with it. He blows before we need to get it in the shop. And then when we need to get, the nigga knows how to back the shit off the lift now because he's that used to it. But we started talking about that shit, and then, like, I learned, because I knew Bammers in college who were dealing with that shit or who on the verge of getting that shit. And the ones I knew who had it, life was miserable. And then the ones, like, who was close to getting it, they was, like, so scared of the shit. And, like, I get it. Nobody wants that shit regardless. But I didn't know that the customer said that shit comes with, like, a monthly fee. If you get a penalty on it, there's a fee on top of the monthly fee. Then you could get the date pushed back based off of the amount of penalties you get, like, for it to be taken off. And I'm like, yo, like, this shit really can drain you not only physically, emotionally, but financially too. Like, I'm like, bro,
that's the biggest thing. That's the biggest cost. If anything, the inconvenience is one thing. Like, the embarrassment and inconvenience of having this machine attached to your vehicle is one thing, but the financial piece, because I have a friend that I used to work with who has had one on her vehicle for years, and I actually need to call her. I haven't talked to her in quite some time. I want to make sure, check in and see if it's still there. Because I went to visit her up in upstate New York, got off the train, and she's like, yeah, one thing I didn't tell you. I'm like, wait a minute. Hold up. I knew she had gotten in some trouble. I knew it was a DUI, but I didn't know to what extent they were handling all that. I thought she was still in the middle of it. Well, she got her sentence, and instead of jail time, they offer this as a solution. But they don't tell you all the things, to your point, all the fees that are associated with it. So it's costing, not only do you possibly lose your job depending on what type of charge you get, because that kind of, sometimes if you get a DUI, it could affect your job. So it affected her job. Not only did it affect her job, now she's not making the same amount of money that she was, and now she's paying $4,000 or $5,000 to get this thing installed, and then whatever the monthly fees are on top of that to get it maintenance and keep it working properly. And then in the state of New York, at least, the terms, this governor was tough on driving under the influence. And I think she got a dumbass sentence of having this thing on for years. And it sounds like the guy that you're talking about has a similar experience.
Yeah. This job been going on since I started 2021. Probably came through 22. Yes.
Yeah. So I mean, that's not too far. That's not too long. I'm talking my buddy. I think we going on I think I like the first time I mentioned it was in 2016, Miss Janelle. Yeah, because Miss Janelle knows the story. So I want to say it was 2016, 2017, around that time when I first got the scoop that this was happening. And the last time I talked to her, which was 2020, the bottom of 2022, I think, she still had it on her car. Yeah. That's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, because I guess because the only other person I could recollect was this white girl that I went to school with, and now that I say it, because the dude I'm talking about is black. What is the young lady? White. She's white. Okay. Oh, she got the book through it. All right. So this white girl probably had her shit on like 90 days. Like I don't like.
But to my point, New York was at that time they were trying to, curtail that behavior, and she was made an example of, and it was her first offense. God, so they really could look at her quite literally. But yeah, nobody talks about the fees and shit associated with it. I didn't know. I thought the state and everybody. I was like, oh, this y'all shit, so y'all pay for it. No, the goal is to hurt your pocket so much. If you're not going to sit in jail, then we're going to drain your pocket so much that you don't. Hopefully, you don't repeat the offense. But it doesn't really address the offense, right?
Because if I'm so fucked up after this shit, I might resort to drinking more.
Yeah. You do what you do to get through your period, whatever the term is, and then right after that, you're like, "Woo! I'm so glad that's over. Cheers." Yeah, that's kind of fucked up. Miss Janelle, do you have I'm sorry, C Major, was that it for you?
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah.
Miss Janelle, you have a touchy subject for us?
I do. I just want to know, like, what code do you live by? What code of conduct? And it don't have to encompass everything. And I'm pretty sure that Major abides by some type of bro code, but just in general, what code do you live by, and where did you get it from?
That's easy for me. Not on some literally elementary level shit. Treat others how you want to be treated. That's why I try to remain calm and gentle through my interactions, whether it be with family, friends, or strangers. I'm always the chill, laid back one, because I feel if I give off and others have said you give off a certain energy to where if I was mad, I'd start chilling out. And it's just like, because we don't need to take it in. God damn it. Everybody relax. Let's figure this shit out and keep it pushing. So that's the code that I've always kind of moved by.
Now, where'd you get that from?
Like I said, elementary.
Okay. School.
Yeah. Because I've witnessed the niggas, the quote unquote bullies, fuck with other niggas. And when it came to me, we was cool. So I realized just use that shit to maneuver through life.
It took me a lot. It took me a couple of getting my head, like banging my head against the wall, or I'm not one. I need to feel certain. You can't tell me the oil is hot. I gotta touch it myself and feel like the oil is hot. So after a few mistakes in childhood and then teenage years, it kind of helped develop the code for myself. I think the basis of my code was started in the home and just watching how dad moved around a lot of people. Dad had this incredible ability and skill to socialize anywhere you put him. I wish I had that. I do not have that. That man could flourish in almost any environment that he was in. And when you think about the idea of leaving home and starting a whole new life in another town, like very far away from everything you knew,
completely different culture,
everything, like you need that type of skill. And by moving to Atlanta, I'm realizing I thought I had some of those skills, but I don't have them to the capacity that Pops had. So that, but the overall code or the nature that kind of is the basis of that skill that he has is to what C Major was saying, is like you treat everybody how you want to be treated. And I think, even though you said elementary, I'm thinking maybe Pop's influenced a little bit, because it's not that he ever said it per se, but you can see it in the behavior.
Yeah, because to your point, he had a certain meter to let him read a room to understand how to engage.
Yep.
Because I've seen him. You know, we used to go to the barbershop together. You know, pre TBI.
Mm-hmm.
And he wasn't the rah-rah loud nigga that he would be with his brothers, with his friends downstairs watching football. He was the nigga chilling. If they look for him and ask for his opinion, he'd give it something smooth, something simple that might even spark a whole nother argument. Because y'all I don't know y'all for real. Y'all go ahead and do all that rah-rah shit, nigga, because he ain't gonna sit up there and start cussing with you neither.
Right.
So y'all can go ahead and do all that. This is my little 2 cents, and y'all can run with that. So, like, yeah, to your point, definitely, he was a huge example of how to maneuver, especially in specific rooms that I knew I would have to learn how to maneuver in as a man coming up. So, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I think the code is the same though as you. It's like you treat people how you want to be treated, and that is something that I'm still refining, because every time I move to a new situation, I'm finding, okay, I made an assumption about somebody that wasn't accurate. Or I prejudged somebody or something without having all the facts. And it's like an eye opener. But it goes back to the code. Like, you don't know where these people came from. You don't know how their day was spent. You have no idea what they might have been going through the past 24 hours, the past hour. So if you approach everyone with the same level of respect and friendliness that you wish for them to engage with you, then hopefully it's reciprocated. And that's a code that I have to actively work on it, but that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to live by that code moving forward. Because to your point, C Major, like Pops he was really like, if I could think of one person in my entire life that emulated that, it would be him.
For sure.
I think the code that I live by is that I'm always part of a collective. And so that informs the way that I move, because I always want to bring more to the collective than I take away from it. So that's like with my friend group. That's like when I go to the grocery store, why I put my cart back a certain way, because I'm part of a collective in here. It's like when I'm driving, I'm part of this team effort. So let me get the fuck out the left lane if I'm not going fast enough, or let me let this person in if it'll keep the traffic flowing. So in every situation in my home, we keep it clean, because I want the next person who uses this space to be able to use this space in comfort. And so that I was thinking about, how can I distill everything that I'm about? And it's really that I'm constantly thinking about how me being in this space affects not only the space, but affects other people. It's why I don't litter when I'm outside, because everybody needs this area out here, and it don't need to be nasty. So I think the best way to kind of distill how I move is that I believe that in every instance of life, I am part of a collective. It's bigger than me, and I'm not going to be the person that makes it negative for somebody else in this group. And I definitely got that from home. Like, my mom wasn't a person who like yelled or did anything to get her point across. So it would just be like, baby girl, I'm asking you to do this because when you do this, it makes it easier for me when I get home, or it makes it easier for your brother. And so from that little pod of the three of us, I carry that mindset in every situation that I'm in, because regardless of where I'm at, on some level, I'm part of a collective. And so That informs the way that I conduct myself. But thank y'all.
No, that was dope. That was
Sure.
dope.
That was lit.
And I like getting them a little, if I pull the curtain back a little bit, Miss Janelle has been giving us the touchy subject ahead of time so we can have thoughts, so we can come to the episode with a little more than just, nah.
Hey.
I think if you look at the historical episodes and she asks us the touchy subject, you can tell when we have it beforehand.
Yeah, usually it's like 30 seconds of dead air. Like
I'll be like, y'all want me to start?
I really appreciate that. That was dope as hell. Let's get into some Jive news.
Should definitely specifically helps 2 beer before 1 major. Process. But I can write shit down.
Writing shit down. Like I've even had to, I'm like, oh man, I got to talk about that. I didn't remember to talk about that.
I did that shit as well.
Yeah, because I'm like, nah, this is crazy, and I want to know if it makes sense or not. Let me see here. Let's start with the Power Ranger shit. Why not? I'm trying to share my screen. Where is it? There it is. Okay. And wait a minute. Okay, there we go. It took a while, but we did. Power Rangers writer admits casting Black and Asian actors as Black Ranger and Yellow Ranger was such a mistake.
Nigga, you just keep quiet, nigga. Don't come out now in 2025, nigga. We know, but just damn.
Like, did he have to say this?
No.
Did he have to?
Not at all. This didn't need to be nobody's quote. This didn't need to be on anybody's record. This didn't even need to be off the record. Like, nigga, we know.
See, Major, you knew this as a young youth watching the Power Rangers?
Because by middle school,
figure it out later.
It was later on. By middle school, I was able to put 2 and 2 together. I was about time
like
when
I was, obviously a smidge older than you. The first time I saw Power Rangers and I saw the colored suits aligned, I said, this is racist. And I'm so glad that kids are still getting the same level of racism that I experienced with Looney Tunes and shit. Like, I was just like,
glad we keeping it going, baby.
Hey, man, why not?
I mean, our shit was cooler. Power Rangers was cooler. Looney Tunes was wild.
Yeah, I mean, your African tribesmen, all of that stuff was wild.
Yeah.
Looney Tunes had a full-blown mammy.
Yeah. The Tom and Jerry, absolutely. So, but to your point, C Major, nobody needed this to be uncovered. Right? You're not revealing anything here. We already do.
News must be slow. This is people. Yeah, this.
Are you interested in seeing the dark? Because this is the April 7th episode of Investigation Discovery's new docuseries Hollywood Demons. And this one was titled Dark Side of the Power Rangers. Are you interested in checking this out?
It is at least 15 to 20 minutes of them talking about the Black Ranger's haircut.
I think that is more important.
That's anti-Black.
Yes.
Yeah. And that's at least. I want a whole episode for real if it's going to be a mini series. But
no, I'm with you. I need
an explanation.
The lack of care with Black skin and hair in prominent television series does need. I think Black Hair documentary tried to do that, but it was like maybe 15 minutes of content. No, we might need a whole docu-series.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, to touch on all the. Yeah.
Oh yeah. All the ways in which Black hair and skin was abused on network television. Let's get into The Brooklyn school, backed by Jay-Z, said students could graduate debt-free, but now they're buried in it. Justice Stevenson had recently graduated high school in Brooklyn and was questioning whether to take a gap year abroad or enroll in college when she received a text message from an unknown number that provided her answer. I tried to reach you by phone. Rock Nation School at LIU is awarding you a full tuition scholarship. You will receive full tuition and be able to graduate without debt, read the message from LIU President Kimberly Klein. Stevenson said it felt too good to be true, but her mother urged her to seize the opportunity to pursue what seemed to be a free degree in vocal performance. LIU was offering a Hope Scholarship, which the university says it was awarded to highest need students. In the fall of 2021, she became part of the inaugural class of the Rock Nation School of Music, a headline-grabbing partnership with LIU Brooklyn and Jay-Z's entertainment company that promised guest lectures from the stars like Jonas Brothers and Rihanna. She said, I remember being just generally conflicted about school, and then coming across this school made me feel a sense of security. Stevenson said it was a full scholarship immediately. It was a music school, which is iconic, and a dream, and Jay-Z is involved. The text from LIU president, she said, made me feel special. But she started to notice unexpected charges tied to her studies. In 2023, Stevenson reached out to Klein directly with questions about her scholarship. Klein texted back, I'm in DC in meetings with Congress. I'll reach out to you on Friday. That's the first thing. If they can't answer, or they can't at least forward you to somebody else that can answer your questions, that's usually rule of thumb number one, that this is not going to end the way you want it to end.
Big red flag.
Big red flag. So now Stevenson is preparing to graduate while also paying off $5,000 of student debt. She says she negotiated the amount down from $26,000 after arguing with LIU officials that she had been promised a debt-free graduation. Stevenson among at least a dozen students in the first class of Hope Scholars who said they unexpectedly owed LIU thousands of dollars despite receiving offer letters stating they graduate without debt. Gothamist spoke with several students who said the Rock Nation School did not live up to its promise of teaching the next generation of artists and entertaining entrepreneurs. In the program's first year, students said they created their own DIY recording studio due to lack of facilities. Other scholarship recipients went to great lengths to stay enrolled, like couch surfing for months, after they realized they were on the hook for housing and other fees. At least 4 students said they dropped out of the school completely or transferred to other schools due to unexpected costs. Financial aid experts say the confusion about the terms of the scholarship is a sign of universities' increasingly aggressive marketing as they compete for students. Is it, or is it, why promote debt-free if you know you're going to hit them with fees?
Exactly.
I think that's very clear. I think the definition of debt-free seems like not a gray area.
There's no gray area in that.
Like you say,
Not at all.
debt-free.
That shit actually shows up in the color of the rainbow when I see debt-free. Like, that's absolutely no gray whatsoever.
No gray whatsoever, right?
And it's a situation where you can clearly state, we will pay your tuition. You will be responsible for housing, meal plans, whatever else. But you need to say all of that up front so that they can make an informed decision. Because first of all, you're talking to children. Mm-hmm. And then in the case of the person that they were showcasing, that person takes this to their parent. Now you got the university saying something. You got your parents saying, go full steam ahead. And luckily, this person was able to negotiate themselves down from, $20-something thousand in debt to $5,000. But still, if you're not crystal clear, then it's fraudulent, because you can state all of those terms up front before anybody enrolls. And it seems like they did not do that.
And I wonder, did the Jonas Brothers or Rihanna, who did they say was coming?
And did they show up? Yeah, both.
Did they show up? Yeah. When was this lecture by Jonas, by any of the Jonas Brothers? And like the famous ones, because there's other Jonas Brothers, don't?
Exactly.
Don't just say the Jonas Brothers and
Don't
bring
give
in
me
Ricky
Tim
Jonas.
Jonas.
Right? Don't bring Franklin Jonas up there and try to. Nah. So I'd be interested to see just how many of these artists came to do the lectures and all of that stuff. It feels almost like a collab, like when you see brands collab to promote something, and maybe one brand is promoting it in just look and feel, and the other brand is doing all the work, and they're not communicating.
Right.
They're not aligned in their message and what the goal of it is. Kind of, that's what it feels like. So get that together. Tell these students exactly what they're expected to pay, and try again. And then give them some freaking facilities, man. Like,
right.
What are you doing? Why are they building their own? Honestly, I'm not actually that mad at them building their own studio. I'm not
that's a
mad
skill.
at that. That's a skill. Absolutely. Yeah.
But no, fuck that player. My shit wasn't even a created art school, and there was multiple studios throughout the campus. That's I hear what you're saying, but now that I think about it.
But provide facilities for people to use, and then provide a space where if you want to learn how to build a studio, you can
that's
do
a
so
separate.
there.
Yeah,
you want to set up a board properly, do that. But you should have things for people's use. But again, if you're trying to find some silver lining in this fucked up situation, the fact that they were able to build their studio is something that they could take away from this and say, hey, I got this skill while I was in school.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I like that. Let's move on. Karmelo Anthony gives GiveSendGo. What is that? GiveSendGo.
It's like GoFundMe, but it's a different organization.
They raised $270,000 for defense.
What team does Karmelo play for?
This is a young man. This was a situation that happened in Texas where this young man was accosted by this black boy, because I'm mentioning race here because it has become there's racial tension surrounding it, where people are assuming that the white victim was a pure and proper victim, and that this young black boy was just a brute who attacked and killed this person, where Karmelo Anthony is stating that he was defending himself, and everything points to that. Witnesses are pointing to that he was accosted by this teen and his brother, and being told that he needs to move out of a space. And Karmelo said, "Don't touch me," which nobody should be touching anybody. And the boy put hands on him and was stabbed and lost his life. So people are rallying for the defense of this young man for a self-defense case, because this tends to be what happens when a white person kills a black person, and white people flood their accounts with money to make sure that they have a proper defense. This is happening for this black child who defended himself against a white person, who people are trying to basically make it seem like this child is just guilty without dissecting the facts, because everything in this country is entrenched in the racism of this country. So it is about race. But I do appreciate the fact I have contributed to this fund. I do appreciate the fact that people are supporting him in the way that they should by making sure he has a proper defense. People made sure that George Zimmerman had a proper defense. People made sure that who was that boy who went to the protest and shot those people? And Kyle Rittenhouse had a defense. People made sure that these people who were clear aggressors in a situation had a proper defense. And I think that it's important that we do the same for this black child.
That's real shit. Because George called didn't make sure that Carmelo Anthony for the Denver Nuggets had a proper defense. And I feel like that wasn't what. Okay, my fault. I'm sorry. Y'all go ahead.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Thank you. More of that, C Major. More of that. Let's move on.
No, wait, just real quick, if I could tack something onto that too.
Sure.
This is a situation where we see it often. White people feel like they have the authority to tell Black people what to do and where to be and where to go. I'm gonna just say to my white brothers and sisters, teach your children and practice for yourselves the art of minding your own business. You are not the authority or the police of Black people and Black bodies. You are not. And this idea that you can go and tell Black folks where they need to be, what they need to be doing, just on the strength of you being a white person and then being a Black person, that could end up really, really bad for you. So practice in your homes, letting your children know and demonstrating for your children the art of minding your own business, because it can go bad for you.
Absolutely.
Nigga, job like that.
I got somebody in my job like that too. And I swear you can tell they would never tell this is none of your business. Like 100%.
It's very real.
Yeah. Unsecured penguin causes helicopter crash after hitting pilot's controls in freak accident. A penguin was reportedly the cause of a helicopter crash in South Africa. According to the BBC and UK newspaper The Telegraph, a report by the South African Civil Aviation Authority stated that the unsecured bird, which had been put in a cardboard box, slipped off a passenger's lap and hit the pilot's controls on January 19th. This picture of the penguin is crazy.
That's what drew me to this story, because it was.
These are stock images, by the way. This isn't the real penguin, but yeah.
Like, this was on the People page after I did the LIU story, right? And so I was like, just the way, because it's an older story, but this is what I wanted y'all to take away from it. The way they just posted up this penguin.
I'm out here.
Like, we have a penguin epidemic of them going out and crashing helicopters.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
These fuckers is up to mischievous acts. Can't trust these niggas.
And then his wings is out like, nigga, what?
Yeah, what's up, nigga?
I'm sorry. That was just me lunching off of something, and that's why this story is.
No,
I think what got me the first time was seeing unsecured penguin, and I needed to know what that meant. How do we secure penguins? How do penguins normally travel? What does this mean? You know what I'm saying?
Me understanding how typical domestic household pets travel, I feel like a cardboard box.
That's not the right way.
It's not the proper method.
No. And I feel like a penguin worth its own whatever. You know, yeah. I'm gonna imagine that animals have ego and self-worth and all the things that humans have. Like, don't put me in a cardboard box in this helicopter. The fuck? You don't have, I see you two legs. I have two legs. Why don't I get a little belt to click? You know what I'm saying?
Taking all this shit down. Right. Y'all don't fuck with me.
Fuck you mean?
Fuck all of this.
Yeah. So I'm not mad at
belly flat all of this motherfucker.
What? Y'all gotta be fucked up. And we going to South Africa? Like, is this even my space? Like, what's the weather like? Like, what are we doing? Where are my friends? You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I got a lot of questions about how the penguin wind up on a. Maybe I could, at some later point, maybe I'll dig in and try to understand. But just off the headline and the pictures alone, Ms. Janelle,
that's all that I needed.
That's all. You're right. You're absolutely right. You're right. Let's move on. Dangerous cargo. why the looted chicken, golly, I mean, these ads are nuts. There's a reason why I don't share my screen anymore, and that just reminded me. Dangerous cargo, why the looted chicken washed ashore in Hellshire is a health risk. On Thursday, April 3rd, 2025, a ship container filled with frozen chicken washed ashore along the Hellshire coastline in St. Catherine, Jamaica. The chicken, labeled under the Brazilian brand Perdix, was not intended for the Jamaican market, but was instead en route to the Cayman Islands. Despite an official notice from the Ministry of Agriculture, there have been widespread reports of looting, with individuals collecting and consuming the chicken. However, experts strongly advised against consuming this chicken for severe critical food safety reasons. Why the chicken should not be consumed. The chicken was washed ashore, was never approved for importation into Jamaica. It did not meet the food safety standards required for poultry entering the Jamaican market, specifically those outlined in the Animal Disease and Importation Act. This legislation ensures that only safe, inspected, and permitted poultry products enter the food chain, and the chicken from the washed up container bypasses these protocols. And additionally, the Veterinarian Services Division of the Ministry of Agriculture confirmed that the shipment was never meant for Jamaica. Without the necessary import permits and veterinary inspections, this chicken could potentially pose significant health risks to consumers. I'm gonna tell you who don't give a fuck about nothing the ministry is saying.
We gonna put that bird on the grill.
Are you fucking kidding me? Are they really trying to get this shit off? Are they really trying to tell the good folks of Jamaica who was going in the water to do whatever the fuck they was doing for the day and found these wrapped chickens not to cook them? Because let me tell you what black folks in America,
that fire kill everything.
That heat will kill everything. As long as you cook it at a certain temperature, I don't give a fuck if that's a fucking ostrich, nigga. That shit is going on the grill.
That bitch going on the motherfucking flame.
Are you kidding me? Free
so
chicken?
Y'all just basically telling them folk how they can get you.
I'm not telling them folk nothing. I'm telling the audience here that if I happen to be on the beach as a Jamaican,
niggas gonna love it.
Guess what food truck is opening up shortly thereafter? That's all I'm saying. Yeah. Or what grilling station or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
I'm getting to the money.
I get what you're saying, Miss Janelle, but the generation of niggas and Jamaican niggas is still out there that really believe, like, this is how we came up. I'm fucked up off of how pops move when it came to food and certain shit. So, like, put that shit on the flame, cook it high, and you won't be all right.
You'll be fine. You'll be fine.
I'm gonna just say a general piece of advice. Do not consume washed up on shore meats. That's all I'm gonna say.
It's a lot of women who do like on the regular. I'm gonna combat that statement. Say that currently a woman is consuming washed up ashore meat.
Right now, some woman is consuming washed up meat.
Or some, 2025, some dude. I mean, but
somebody is consuming
washed up meat.
You remember when the truck accident happened and all the frozen fucking Purdue Tysons, whatever that was, spilled all over the highway and niggas got out their car and put that shit in their trucks and kept it moving? And they tried to say, oh, you don't want to eat that chicken. Why? It's still frozen solid.
It's still frozen and still packaged.
It's still packaged.
Little Jimmy eating that shit right. Well, it's $12.59. Somebody kid getting fed that right now for lunch.
Yes. And this chicken appears to be wrapped in plastic. The box that it was shipped in was again wrapped in plastic. I think you do your due diligence. Like, you don't just
Now, most black people do their cleaning procedure for the bird anyway. Yeah.
So I'm just saying, if I was of Jamaican descent and was walking along the shores.
What, the Bamba?
Yeah.
True.
If I'm not cooking it, I'm selling it to somebody. That's for sure. For pennies on the dollar.
Okay.
Yeah. You want the whole chicken, man? $2.
I can't deal with y'all accents right now. Can y'all
No,
just
it's
please?
terrible. My bad.
My shit is it turns to Irish and then back to
mine does too. Then I be Russian. Yeah, I gotta then somehow the chicken turns to this. Very good.
Very good.
Very good. No problems. I don't want no problems with the chicken. No problems.
My shit just go from jerk to mumbo sauce.
Add a little potato. You're fine.
No, now you stupid.
I can't.
Yeah, it changes. I can't control my. I used to have a good grip on it. I don't.
Yeah, now you got
Pause.
a chicken. Now you turn to a chicken stroganoff and shit. Like
Grip on it. It's too much.
Oh man, that's all I got for Jive News. Great show, you guys. I was thinking about next week, and I know what I had said
Okay.
about being available to record. But the reality is, next Sunday is the Super Bowl for the Christians out here in these streets, and I'm going to be. While I will have my things, I will defer to the team. Do we need a collective break? Could we use a little bit of a break this coming Sunday? And let's reconvene in April, like the week after. Sorry, I realize it's already April. So. I'm tired. I'm so exhausted.
So the 13th is April.
Yeah, my bad.
So are you saying reconvene on the 27th?
On the 27th. Yes, okay. Exactly. So you guys are hearing the business. We're pulling back the curtain right now. Initially, I was going to be make myself available to record on Easter Sunday, but I think I would like to use that time to spend some quality time with family while I'm there. See what C Major see what his ribs really hitting on. So I'll be up in the DMV, and he said he could throw some ribs on the grill, and I'll tell you, Mr. Dell, for real. Like,
okay.
Like, cause he just be showing pictures online, and I'm like, I mean, it looks good, but it's time to really put my stamp of approval on his grilling techniques. I'm going to be hands-on, C-Maker, so we'll be there. Okay. And, we'll collaborate on a nice meal on Sunday.
For sure.
Yeah, so I mean, it makes sense for me to not. Y'all know about my personal situation and the moves that I need to make now in light of the summer coming, and so in that process, we're coming together as a family, as a collective, and having dinner. So.
Good. That's good shit. So we will be off next week for Easter Sunday. Please enjoy the time with your family. If you are religious and that's what you do it to death. I think especially our folks that are within the culture, I'm not going to shout out particular races, but y'all know who y'all are, because the rest of the world is doing what the world is doing, and this country is doing what the country is doing. So you continue to do what you do. Protect your peace, protect your community, be a community. I love the segment that Ms. Janelle adds at the end of the show. And yeah, we're going to just take a break. We're going to take a slight break next week. Go to church, put on your Sunday's best. I'll be back with a full report. I don't see a lot of street Easter shit here. So I'll be back in the DMV and have a full report on the level of Easter baskets. Because that doesn't appear to be a whole thing down here. Like in little pockets around the suburbs of Atlanta, you see it, but not like in the DMV. Like
bunny
outside. Oh man.
Yeah, in your mini malls, strip malls, major malls.
Yeah, all of that. So We're going to take a slight break and be back on the 27th. Let me see. As always, you can find. Am I missing anything? Let me just take a pause. You hit that. Okay, I think we're good. That was the end of John News. So, for our good folks on Patreon, we're going to give you a little bit extra on this episode that we're not going to show on YouTube. So that's on me. I have my notes here. We're going to cut it. We're going to give you something extra. I'm trying to figure out how to do this. Today it naturally happened because of the nature of Ms. Janelle just coming on here and saying, hey. And I said, oh, let's do this, right? So we're definitely going to start providing a little extra content for those of you who choose to support us on Patreon. Thank you so much for your continued contributions. It's $5 a month if you haven't joined Patreon. We will start providing more content. One of those ideas is a music show, like something for our music lovers out there who love. Why would I say it again?
Music.
Damn it. You got me. For our music lovers out there, we will provide some extra shows specific around music. I have a couple of ideas that I want to make sure I post up for you all. For anybody else who's subscribing, and sharing on YouTube, thank you. Please continue to do that. Please continue to share it with like-minded folks. You have somebody, you're at work listening to us and you giggle when somebody asks and you tell them and they're like, oh, that was kind of funny. You share the link. Share it with them. Bring them on board. Had a couple of people reach out to me because they're stumbling across the clips and saying, I didn't know you guys had a show. And I'm like, only for 10 years. It's the nature of what it is. Like, we're on our own. We're doing this the way we know how to do it. I'm trying to keep ownership in-house. So it's a slow build, but we're getting there. Please share. Please share who you can. And you can find us on TikTok at TBreezy. You can find us on Instagram at Reals&Feels, at Reals&Feels Pod on YouTube for our folks that want to see the video presentation. And then the podcast app is always on Apple. And I believe you could get to it via Android as well. I'm looking into the Spotify thing. They had some wonky fine print that I wasn't a fan of. So I'll go back and reread and make sure that little piece about ownership is a little more clear.
For
anything
Android
else?
users, I'm sorry.
Go
but
ahead.
just real quick, for Android users, Podcast Addict is a great app to find us on as well. And you can go way back. You can dig in the trenches and get all of our material. Because like we just started on the YouTube thing.
Mhm.
But if you want to see how we was living before that, you can find our old episodes on
wow.
Podcast Addict.
As well as SoundCloud. SoundCloud is still a thing as well.
Yes, it is.
But I just real quick wanted to say on the community tip, be a part of your local food bank, or if your church has a food pantry, be a part of that. And I like to say with everything, what got me into volunteering and community work is that I always want to contribute first in case I ever need. So I'm adding to it before I'm taking away from it. But real quick, in the DMV, you can just go on Google and say, food pantries or food banks near me and put in your zip code. And if you give them a call, they'll tell you how you can contribute. If you've got the means and you want to contribute food, they always need dry goods, non-perishables, rice and beans, canned goods, things of that nature. But also remember, if you have, if you're doing all right, remember that people who utilize food banks also like luxuries. So contribute, cake mixes, frosting, contribute the ingredients that go along with it, oil, eggs. Understand that folks who utilize those resources also have celebrations that they have to consider, and things that they want to do with their families. Mm-hmm. If you can't contribute in that way, if you don't have time to shop, or if you can't clean out your pantry for things that are not expired that you want to give, you can always give cash. But also, if you have the resource of time, they always need people who can sort, stock shelves, serve, Another way that you can contribute is to offer recipes. If you make fire rice and beans, submit your recipe to the food bank. They also give that to the people who utilize the resource. And also, if you're going to go and volunteer